Hello and welcome to Truth Xpose TV. Today it is with great pleasure that I introduce my dear friend Dr Gary Wohlman. This is part 2 of my conversation with Gary Wohlman. He's got so much wisdom to share that we just had to have him back on the show, and we will be having a few more episodes with Gary. Now, a little bit about Gary. He's a communication skills coach, a transformational healer, performance and visual artist, and he's also a presentation coach. And he's going to share today how people can free themselves on all levels to speak their truth with ease, to liberate their full self-expression, and to bring their voice and message into the world as they have always dreamed possible. He's coming to us live from Melbourne today, from New York City originally. Hello and welcome, Gary.
I'm honored and delighted to see you and to pick up where we left off last time. Wow, that's a mouthful you just shared. How do I follow that?
Well, you're a very inspiring guy, Gary, ever since I met you 15 odd years ago. And, you know, I learned about your Wohlman Method, which was unbelievable. I knew, you know, from then and also from our first meeting that that we were going to be friends, I'd say for life, because we just got along famously, and nothing's changed over all these years. So it's really, really an honor and privilege to have you on the show, and looking forward to the words of wisdom that are going to pop out of our mouths today. So let's talk about the
I can hardly wait. Well, what time did they arrive, by the way? We're expecting a special delivery, aren't we?
Yes, yes, they'll be coming any minute now. Hang in there.
That's my court gesture showing up.
Okay, so let's talk about the Wohlman Method, because oh, I missed all that.
Being you in mind, but I know what to say. You know what I want to say first. The very first thing I want to say is when Harry, easy for me to say, when Harry met Sally principle. Yes. You know, sooner or later, if you're having a good time, everybody else is going to want to have a bit of what you're having, all having. And I think that's the first principle of public speaking. Having a good time, and you're enjoying the movements, and there's a fluidity in the physicality, the wisdom and the wit and the wonder and the worthiness comes barreling through, avalanching through, without having a thing. It's almost as though by putting yourself into the zone, the words can be extracted almost as though you're reading a script. I don't think about them. Words seem to visible on the screen of my mind just as I'm saying them. So I'm able to think on my feet, so to speak, excuse the expression, while waiting for the next phrase. So, for example, if a person doesn't know what to say, whether it's in a presentation coaching or a transformational body therapy session, I often say to them, well, if you were to say, if I knew what to say, that often then leads you on the track of knowing, moving into the unknown. Then the wisdom of waiting, pausing until the words naturally come, so much more effective than have it all pre-planned. The Quakers in their meetings are well known for being moved to speak, and then they stand and they speak. I feel this is a much more effective way of presenting, to speak from the inside out until the conscious awareness. Phrases like, I trust my intuition, my gut feelings, and I speak from this place with grace. Even the rhyme, the rhythm, creates a certain kind of a memory, an energy, a repetitive type of connection. It's almost as though a music plays.
Music from within.
Champions. When I was okay? When I was running in Sprinter, and I remember once being able to accelerate my performance level by simply adjusting my rhythm of movement and sound together. And by increasing the rhythm, the performance level is so much greater. So similarly with words, when the rhythm or the rhyme or the meter or the movement patterns are able to be remembered and become something that's like a heartbeat, it creates a momentum through which the next words naturally spring from the unknown to the known.
Mm-hmm.
Am I making sense?
Yes, I like that. I like, well, you're talking about speaking from the heart, allowing whatever's inside you to come, trusting your intuition. I think that's all really good stuff, actually. And so when you say things like that, like I know the Wohlman Method has some spoken word affirmations included as well. So when you say, I trust my intuition, I speak with ease and grace, how often would you say that to yourself or think that in a day or in a week, or is it something that just subconsciously you think of?
Question. Well, I'm saying it all the time to my clients and the people who I work with both the presentation coaching and the body therapy. And what I find is most effective is the stage, in the bathroom, and to be able to create a feeling of such a body that correspond to the communication word within that area. I see myself as an archaeologist of the soul, to be able to get under the surface in the landscapes of our bodies and free the physical stored tension, the emotional stored energy, and from creative expressions come buried underneath. The gifts are underneath the emotional holding patterns, underneath the physical tensions. So if I say something like this, and you can do this with me, placing your hand with the palm of your hand over your right temple, like that.
Yes. Yes.
And as you stretch, as you exhale, and pull your head towards the left shoulder while pulling your right shoulder to the right hip, a counter stretch at the same time, saying these words. Watch the magic of what's saying. My shoulder drops away.
My shoulder drops
My shoulder drops away.
My shoulder drops
More
away.
room for me. Breathe in, relax. Exhalation. Stretch even further as you say, what I feel, think, do, and say. Let's switch the same head, right hand now, and place it, you who are watching, I hope you're not driving, place your hand on your left temple, and with your nose facing forward, you're stretching in the lateral and the sidewise direction on the exhalations and doing it exactly as I'm doing it here. Shoulder drops away from my ear.
My shoulder drops away from my ear.
More room for me to speak my truth.
More room for me to speak my truth.
I'm stretching even further. More room to clearly hear.
More room to clearly hear.
My shoulder drops away.
My shoulder drops away.
For me to trust.
More room for me to trust.
Feel, think, do, and say.
What I can do and say.
Hey!
Hip, hip, hooray! Yay!
Helps create this ridiculosity, which creates a velocity of momentum to begin to awaken such creativity through the psyche. By simply doing that, what's happened? We've freed up room in our speech center to let go of the tensions holding us from feeling safe to speak our truth. And then by saying the words, by saying it to our room for me, yes, more literally, more room for me to speak up rather than to shut up, to share, do, and if a person's a writer, write, if a person's a singer, sing and say. Hip hip hooray simply makes it memorable, unbelievably memorable. You can't forget an expression like hip hip hooray. And it's not to be silly, yet that Monty Pythoning of the moment, so to speak, a ridiculous exaggeration is so easy to remember. So when I do this with people, they're strutting their stuff. Give you another example. Working with a psychologist once in Bar, and he had done a lot of presentations to commerce meetings. He was a stiff guy. He just couldn't get the words all like something. And I asked him, look, what is it you're passionate about? What is it that thrills you, fills you joy, enthusiasm, confidence in your residence when you speak? He said, oh, okay. Well, I love to dance. I say, all right, tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to put on a wonderful piece of, I want you to do some music. And once I turn off the music, now start your presentation. What do you suppose happened? He spoke with an electric enthusiasm because he was in the zone. It's all about getting in the zone first, and then the words follow. As I trust my movements that move fluidly, then the words follow fluidly. Another time, I was working with a man who was, he was running a car dealership. It was his own car dealership. And conferences, and I said, man, what's, and he said, oh, I'm a race car driver. I said, great, what happens when you put your foot on the accelerator? He says, I get this thrill. I say, go, great, bro. Pretend you're about to put your foot on the accelerator, on the gas pedal, and go, put it down. What's the feeling, the sound that goes with it? He goes, boom. Okay, good. Boom. Now speak. He says, I'm so excited to speak with you today. What did he do? He remembered a moment in the past that brought him to a thrill. So now the words could spill. The words could spell, and all came well. It was easy once he connected to his passion, his humor, and his delight. That's how it works. That's how I see it. You get people to feel happy, and people who are happy are in a state of conscious. When we feel happy, well, we do things in a conscious, focused way. It's about getting ourselves in that state of what makes us feel wonderful, and then it's easy.
Nice. So getting in that, getting in the happy state is part of getting in the zone, right? So if someone's having a pretty crappy morning and not feeling that great, how can they switch out of that and put themselves in the zone?
Some key strengths that are beyond our critic, beyond what our mothers and fathers and sisters and brothers and teachers and lovers and authority figures who've meant well have criticized. You could do better, or that's good. Taken on admonitions from before. We're reeking with this feeling of, oh my God, the worst fear from some studies that people have come up with is the fear of being humiliated in public speaking. What happens when you get behind yourself? What 3 key words, if you could put them up into the Google world and have those 3 words be resounded, what words would echo 3 key words? For me, I'm creative, I'm playful, and I'm transformational. Now they come with the words, they come with voice tones, as well as the words themselves. So the verbal words, the vocal sounds, and the visual gestures together, if a person can say them, and bringing those 3 gestures, like when I said just now, I'm creative with the hands, I'm playful, and it can be something similar, or I'm inspiring, movements that lift up, and I'm transformational. If I include those gestures in my speaking, I get myself into the zone. So what is it for you? You who are listening, what 3 key words would match, and gestures that make pictures of those 3 key words? Then when you're on the stage, those gestures still connote and reveal the energy, the radiance, the joy, the clarity, you having to remember a thing. There's some other tools to be able to show. When we move often from left to right or right to left. Think about it this way. Language, when we write, we're right in our consciousness as Western things. You think that moving to the future is moving to the. So an audience watching a speaker, then is the speaker moving to the audience's right. The audience is naturally pre-programmed to see this path and grab time going in that same direction. The x-axis pointing to the right. My speaker, me, my left. So if I say the way things in the future, as you can see by this graph, right, then at the right, you, the audience, know that I'm going to speak about the future. And when I move to the other side, which is obviously the opposite of the future, the way things used to be, even if I'm at a podium, even if I just barely touch with the fingers or a movement of the body, all of this allows the speaker to be heard on many more levels and dimensions of meaning, and I'll remember my message better. So if I place my point center, if the future's over here and the past is over there, the middle is the present. I am presence. My stand on the subject, my present stand on the subject, our company's philosophy, how we stand, what I stand for. It's with me holographically on the stage, wherever I stand is my center. The audience gets a better sense of me, making more levels and dimensions of meaning. And if I start speaking about different subjects, that's going to happen in the future, something that happened in the past. If I place the same story in the same place on the stage, you, the audience, are going to, before I even get there, because I'm see what I'm going to say before I even say it. And me, the speaker, I'm going to remember what to say because I'm choreographing my communication. I'm placing the points on consistent places on the stage. This is the essence of stagecraft. So you actually know, oh, he's going back to that same spot. He's going to talk about that story. And I move in the tonality and the voice tones as well, the postures, the movement patterns, and the verbalizations that match whatever happened or will happen or is happening in that particular zone. Remember speech, what my talk. This is part of my grid I show in my presentations and in my seminars. It's a grid of 9 squares, like knots and crosses. We use different zones mapped out, past, present, future. The real secret to what I'm sharing with you, dropping my spine, letting the voice slightly soften as well, is that this is all about between you, your body, your messaging, and your audience. If I develop a relationship with you, it's much easier than trying to convey key points as though I'm talking to nobody and everybody. It's me to you. It's always so intimate. Then it's easier to remember. Everybody feels that compelling telling, far more memorable than I have something to say to you. No, there's something that matters so much to talk to that innermost place in yourself that may forget, that wants to easily with ease on all stages of your life. What are you going to remember the most? And they do it with certain movement patterns, and they can remember it because it's physicalized. Verbal words, vocal sounds.
Nice. What exactly is the power of that? Like, what's behind that? Like, you know, they say, you know, 55% of what you see is body language, for example, and then, you know, only so much is how much you know, what you say is what people take. So what is it when it's the other way around, when it's all coming from within you, when it's your tone and what you say, and, you know, and then incorporating stretching, and, you know, why is that so much more powerful than just saying something? You know, like, is there a science behind this, Gary, as to why it's more powerful using multiple senses and multiple ways of delivering?
when we speak,
Is there some kind
from
of
different
is there something
levels
behind
of
it? Yep.
when we speak in ways that make pictures visually, that have a variation of voice tone vocally, and have clear, succinct words verbally, people's channels at one time. Visual learners, acoustic or audio learners. Others are more kinesthetic, who respond more slowly and are taking things more through feeling. So if you use, as you speak, different words that appeal to different senses, do you hear what I mean? Do you see what I'm saying? Do you feel what I'm talking about? Then the person who's listening, are able to information these sensory channels much more easily than just speaking fast, giving cognitive information that appeals only to the visual learners. Tones going up and down, it's all about the sound, just to the people who are more audio or slow, feeling, to those that need to feel a different type of when we speak from the inside, it's talking heads. They speak from the 10 matter that's an audience, but when we have our hands, our arms, our body, our ability to pause, contact, to feel emotion welling up and wait. And maybe a song is there, or a message, something from that we wanted to share with someone. Yes, this bubbles up by trusting the pause. So much more information can come bubbling up to the surface. So in this multidimensional, multisensory way, it's easier to remember, to access of information than those we would by just memorizing a script. When we wait, the whole history of all the chain of events, past, present, and future, that are connected to our language, accessible through our verbalizing. When I often wait until I feel the words forming in my mouth, and then it's almost as though I'm reading the script, but I'm not planning it. I'm seeing the words like in front of me, but I'm seeing them as I'm saying them. Where are the words coming from? From the deep unconscious. I've learned to trust that and show people to do the same. Am I making sense?
I actually missed bits of what you were saying. So if you could actually just repeat some of that, because the internet was cutting in and out a little bit. So yeah, if you could just repeat that last bit you said there, that would be good.
I was saying, the last bit I was saying was this, that
yes,
by waiting, there's an opportunity. Even now, I realize as I move my hands more slowly, is able to absorb the data. If I don't move so fast, I just realized this minute.
yes.
So if I move my
that's true.
And wait to arise, I'm waiting for the unconscious teleprompter of the wisdom of all collective unconscious and all collective consciousness to be accessible by waiting and trusting the pause, unknown. And then it's as though by priming ourselves to move in a certain direction, we can move more clearly in that direction without knowing what to do next. This is the skid. What happens when we're on a car or a bicycle and we slip and it's very oily on the rubber wheels? The way to get out of a skid in a car, to turn out, the way to get out of a skid is to go into it. So by trusting the unknown, by speaking slower, by waiting, what happens for me is I start to see, actually to visualize the words. Hey, just as I'm planning what I'm saying, yet by trusting the unknown, the unconscious wisdom of all collective unconscious and conscious awareness, past, present, and future, is delivered, revealed to you. So this is fantastic when you want to tune in to what to say next to an audience. This is what the value of asking participatory questions comes up in speaking. So let's say you lose track of what you're saying. A very embarrassing thing to say would be, oh no, I've lost the plot. I forgot. Yet a wise thing to say that takes us all into this myriad of messaging that's magnificent and magical and museful and has rhyme and cadence to it, is to say, where do we go from here? What we've been talking about is, what I've been just telling you is, which leads us to our next point. So what I was saying, and many excellent speakers do this, telling you is, what I am telling you is, which leads us to our next point. Because then the consciousness with the thread that was already looped, we re-loop it, and we're making sense. What do you hear me saying?
Yeah, I like that.
What do you hear me saying? Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I like what you said about pausing and about the looping back, and you're talking about, you know, when you go slowly to the data can can catch up with what you're saying, and people will understand you a lot clearer when you speak slowly. And there's something we said recently too on our last show about the spaces. You know, it's what makes music is the spaces between the music, and what makes speech is the spaces between the words, right? So consciously pausing as you're speaking can be a great way for people to be able to hear your truth when you slow down, which I must say I've been quite challenged by, being a journalist for many years and having a high adrenaline lifestyle, and often speaking very quickly because we're on deadline and you know, racing through life, and people do, I think, miss half of what you're saying. And it also becomes harder to listen to the conversations in your own head and listen to your own intuition when you're busy out there all the time.
Yeah, one of the things that's very helpful is begin to have a different dialogue between how you see yourself and the audience. I'm ready to have a new relationship with you, audience. Up to now, I felt like you don't hear me, that I speak far too quickly. I take time to connect with myself, the more here's everything that I have to say. As I approach my audience, walking forward to the audience, my audience approaches me with a stronger listening. So there's many ways of creating a new dialogue to self, the new thing. Once we get the star selves reprogrammed, magical how others out there can hear us better. I was working in Baltimore. I was asked to do a presentation for soloists who were musicians, singers, and they had musical backup. We had and and of this had their view from, oh, my drummer's out of sync, to my drummer follows exact rhythm to everything that I have to say, until their delivery. There was a greater rhythm and connection naturally following. It's shifting the relationship in your mind first, and then it exteriorizes. It's an inside job. When it happens from the inside out, everybody benefits. That's how this works. It has to first be conceived inside. I have a wonderful relationship with my audience. You hear everything that I say, and on more levels of meaning than I ever knew. You make it easy for me to share my wisdom and my truth to you. And speaking that way, what's voices? It's important to redefine habits that have been pulling us down and back in and contracting into a glory. This new self-talk is the essentialization of what makes a speaker. If I can hear my message first, and if I can direct the message to the base of my own spine, which is my own foundation, then the audience perceives me receiving the message first, rather than me trying to get the message out to something outside of myself. It's all about self-connecting all that is the self of which we are all a part. So it makes communication so much all one-to-one.
Yeah, I love what you say about the rhythm coming from within and coming out, the rhythm, having that flow within you when you speak. The flow when you're speaking from the heart, just letting come out whatever comes out. And when you're speaking from the heart, you're not overanalyzing and overthinking about things. You're just saying, you're just speaking from the heart. And, you know, when you speak your truth, there might be some people in your life that don't want to hear the truth and they don't want to hear what you have to say. However, it is really important to speak your truth. And can we talk about that, Gary, about why is it so important to speak your truth in life, whether or not people are going to like what you have to say?
Okay. What I find is that when I am honoring my truth, my insights, my of beliefs around pain, shame, blame, the more I speak from a place of feeling, my ability to trust my own intuition and psychic awareness and clairvoyance and seeing clearly, clairsentience, feeling clearly, is stronger. If I am speaking from a place of looking the truth from within, I connect with what ordinarily happens more dream states in a conscious, connecting way. It happens speaking, it happens for creative souls, like we all are, but we denied in our lives. I've written a number of songs in my life, or kind of songs have written me. How the songs happen? A phrase, a sentence, and it has a certain rhythm, a certain meter, a certain feeling of a cadence, heartbeat that has, I say the first sentence, and I repeat the sentence that I'm thinking of now, about gratitude that came through once. I'm grateful for the things that last. Similar rhythm, I'm going to sing it again, and what comes out? For those that last. Now, really, I rhythm, and what followed in the same cadence that allowed me to take one word and let it spill over to something even more meaningful. Grateful I sing. close to my heart with full presence of wings. It's over, and the words, in speaking the truth with ease, this is perhaps the magic underneath the mystery is within.
I like that, Paul.
Excited.
And you've got a book. You've got a book out that has a very musical little too. And I love actually seem to flow with the poetry and with the energy around, you know, music, song, tone, etc. So can you tell us a bit about your book and the title of the book and where that came from?
Will, but I'm going to actually bring the book to you. So give me half a minute to leave and come back, and I'll be right there with you. Keep breathing and singing your song. Whoever's there listening.
Okay, fantastic. So Gary is just going to get a copy of his book to show us, which has been inspired by a famous musical song. And we're talking with Dr. Gary Wohlman here from Melbourne, live from Melbourne. He's from New York City originally, and he's a presentation coach helping people speak their truth. Thank you, Gary. Please tell us all about your book.
Can you see it there? There you go. You can see the cover, the title, Get Up, Stand Up for Your Life. And that's actually me leaping off a cliff, which I have been known to do over the years. I used to be a champion springboard diver. Actually, this is what I was saying to you about the song. I didn't plan to make a photo for this book, leaping off a cliff. Well, cliffs and taking chances. Somehow when I do that, there's a Zen saying, leap and the net appears. And in this particular moment, a good friend of mine videoing me leaping off this cliff. I had no idea what it was going to be used for, but I was about to finish my book. And then when I saw that he could actually break the video up, look carefully, into 3 different images of me leaping, taking off, air, and at the bottom, those are 4 different pictures into one. What a marvelous combination of past, present, and future. This became my book cover. And beautiful. This book is all about my dedication to freeing, as an archaeologist of the soul, the physical, the emotional, energy, holding that tension in place, and underneath that, the gifts of expression that we all have. In this book, it's a demonstration of my dedication to all of us freeing ourselves from being buried in the landscapes of our own body, freeing our communication, our relationships, our creativity, and our contribution. Those 5 areas are what my life's been dedicated to. So I have tools, techniques, and tips, songs, interactive exercises to help ourselves from being bound, to set free that fiery enthusiasm, that inspiration that's literally connected with breathing in more, allowing more breath, allowing more life force, we're more connected to our wisdom, because by vitalizing the body, I like to use the expression, I receive my greatest fulfillment. Not fulfillment, fulfillment.
Fulfillment.
I fuel myself with full breath. Literally, when we do fill our lungs to the highest capacity of the vital fluids in the body, therefore, we're more on top of what we have to say. The book for me is a way of helping people set ourselves free in the shortest, simplest possible way. One of my is the 5 S that I've developed over the years. To speak in the strongest, shortest, specific statement. A dear friend of mine named Lisa has helped shorten this expression for me even more, saying it's just the simplest, shortest, and strongest. Thank you, Lisa, wherever you are. Bless you. Yes, we can make it even shorter and stronger and more succinct. The beauty of having dear friends in our lives, how we can wake each other up to our seek, and when we feel cared for, when we our body, when we listen from within and are able to turn our negativity into something positive. That's why it's important to say at any turn. This is also in my book, in the chapter in relationships, on renegotiating a relationship. Renegotiate something that's not working, whether it's a relationship or yourself. A wise thing to do would be to say, I'm ready for a new relationship with you. And then instead of saying what I need to change is, what's been working is you've been a devoted friend, you've been a wonderful spirit, even the critic inside. You've allowed me to be able to distinguish between things, but bringing up myself and others, and all have to do by taking on the voices of others condemnatory towards us in our lives, by shifting that to a whole different view. We can say, okay, critic, I'll give you a new job title. The Wizard of Oz. The lion, you already had the greatest courage. I give you this gift. I bestow it in the Tin Man. You had the most beautiful heart. He already was the most heartful. And Dorothy, as it turned out, she was at home the whole time dreaming. She was already at home. What I'm saying to you is, in this Wizard of Oz principle, that the critic, to tell ourselves each other, I now hereby give you a new job title. I give you now the job title of, you are now the wise, clear choices. So you use that same ability to discriminate to help me make better decisions in my life. Yes! So now I can think better. Now I can write better. Now I can stand our life and everything we do. Hip, hip, hurroo! You row, 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 you're all the way through, if you get my drift.
Very cool.
Are we having fun yet? Yes, we are. This is very, very good. Smile.
Can we have some curry now, please? Really, I love curry.
Portion of that? Yes. The truth is exposed. It's very good.
The truth is, I love your. I love the cover on your book, Gary. Get Up, Stand Up for Your Life, and the past, present, future that you mentioned there. How important is it? Awesome.
How important is it?
Yeah, could you just show that? Just say the title there, Gary, and show that up again, because that didn't come up right then on the recording. So just with the book, yep.
You see it now. The title: Get Up, Stand Up for Your Life. Yep, you can see it now.
Yes. And
the diver diving, leaping off a tall cliff, about 10 meters high, and there's the splash at the bottom as well, all as part of one photo. Isn't that amazing how we can future into one? Similarly, if you're a speaker and you envision yourself speaking before a certain group of people that you've always wanted to do, a wonderful exercise is the passé exercise. It's the essence of guided visualization. Visualizing ourselves already being there in our future and speaking at that place. And then as though this moment, X number of minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years in front, is happening right now. I now present to you, all of you have been wanting to have you listen all my life. You, like the dearest group, I've been revering all the work that you've been doing and saving wildlife, preventing further, helping humanity have a sustainability. So glad to be able to speak in front of this club today. I'm just making it up. But by doing it as though it's already happened, So again, it's all about getting in the zone, moving a future zone as the power in the moment. There's no more power. in other places. We have to bring into this compelling telling in our present. Then everything grows in inspiration. Everything exists in this third-dimensional universe to repeat itself. So, both want to create, think it, write it, shout it underwater, make a painting about it, and sooner than later, of guided visualization, bringing all moments, this moment, all the time in the world. This is where we have access to all past knowledge. I'm practically in tears saying this. We've just been buried in our own landscape to think that we are less than who we truly are. As we wake to this wisdom, we can see near, we can see dear, we can speak clear. In rhyming helps.
And there's some other ways to present. So there's some great things, the affirmation there, ways to stay present. I know in meditation they talk about focus on your breath is a great way to stay present in the moment, because it's interesting how often our minds just want to wander to the future, the past, thinks of other things, there are a million things going on. So to silence the mind, to be fully in the present, you know, how else can you do that? What are some other ways other than breathing, other than affirmations? How else would you suggest we can bring ourselves back to and make the most of the moment?
Yeah, good point, Aldwyn. Visualization is essential, and it all does start with the breath. So let's now include a visualization that includes the breath. You who are watching, you who are listening, imagine as you exhale, picture waters falling down.
Mm-hmm. I like that feeling.
Yes. With a sigh of relief, a sound of deepening, a resonance in your residence, a sound of way through. In and breathing in. Sunrise lifting. In the sky. Inhale. Rise. All that you're ready to bring forth in what you think and do. Exhalation can be also not only what you're ready to release, yet also bring through. So, exhaling long with the O. New, bringing the new, that feeling of spirited inspiration and all the insights that come with it. Long, longer, longest, all the way through. Full, clearer, strongest, receiving the fullest inspiration, breathing out deepest, longest. This simple practice will assist you with your pause, with your follow through, instead of stopping short on the inhalation, it allows spirit to come in, information, insight, through the rhythm of exhaling longer to go further, sharing even more than you once allowed and knew. Another affirmation is standing on a firm, flexible that that supports me. A fresh stand of command in my land. Right. So you see what we're doing? We're connecting rhyme, rhythm, visualization, sound, again to the same multi-sensory connection through which, by putting these together, I have much more access to information with you on far more levels and dimensions. Are you receiving well? More feeling of saying by connecting all of these different sense channels simultaneously. Is waking up your own perceptive filters.
Yeah, I love that. That was a really simple process. Only a few minutes there. A simple process of meditation / visualization, breathing, affirmations. There's a whole lot incorporated in that, which is all like part of the Wohlman Method, I guess, is what you do.
It is.
So can we talk a little bit now about the Wohlman Method? And we started at the beginning of this show to talk about it. And how did you come about doing the Wohlman Method? So you were doing massage originally, and then you incorporated extra things into it. Is that correct? Or how did it all come about?
Okay, I was 20 years old. That's 45 years ago. And I was living in San Francisco. I had just left a very highfalutin, very competitive, still is one of the best in the world. I am out with the Headmasters Award for the greatest success in both academics and athletics, champion springboard diving and track and gymnastics. And I did a wonderful training in my high school in English. It had a fantastic English department, so I had an ability to communicate well. Medical school, and being such an acrobat and a physical sport, and also loving writing. When I moved to San Francisco, I came across the new field in new development in well-being and healthcare. It's become, which I've now become a pioneering practitioner. I took on many different forms. I was immediately drawn to scientific Swedish massage, postural integration, which is a form adaptation of structural integration, which is developed by Rolf, stretching deep tissues with elbows, forearms, knuckles, fingers, freeing the fascia from the pent-up stored tightness in the body. There's sequential 10. I learned this method, passion, psychodrama, Gestalt therapy. This was at the heyday, in the early 70s in California, where I was living. And received this work on myself when I was stressed and open. I get these different forms of massage, polarity therapy, drama, Gestalt therapy. What started to happen in me was out came songs, out came freed up tremendous stored emotion. Hey, my anger, my stored up energy that I had no idea I was pent up with for so long. As a good student, as an academic, as a scholar, as an athlete, someone follow tradition. It outburst through me in my body, in my lens body. All the creativity opened, and emotions began to come out. Then songs, poems, plays, expression. And paraded through me. So I said to myself, then I'm going to dedicate myself in this life. Again, I'm being brought to tears, to free other souls in the same way we are all buried in our own landscape. and to be able to create a pathway to help fellow souls, free the physical tension, feel the safety of sharing the emotions, the crying, anger, and pain, to get it out of the way, to share that, and to do dialogue with people that we felt held back by, and then to ritualize form of a song, a painting, a sketch, a dance, a drama, a speech, the Wohlman Method for the whole person, which is a combination of accessing breath, sound, visualization, touching, and rhyme. Those five at the same time code the new self-talk into the muscle memory. I do this with my presentation coaching too. As I said, turning moments of it when it was frozen or they were told you can't speak, they face that moment again, and they say to that person, I take this pain that I have had, and feeling that I can't speak because you've shut me all my life since I believed I can't speak. I'm front of audience. This never belonged to me. This is an identity to be able to survive with you, Father, significant others, someone who meant well, but pushed me down. I take this pain, I wad it up in an ugly ball, and I send it back to the source. I send it back, then moving clockwise, taking a stand, reaching up to the sky, sinking into the pelvis. Reclaim fulfillment in my life, my creative expression, my trusting my words, my thinking, my intuition, renewed again. Today is a new day. Hip, hip, hooray! Re-encode the new self-talk and the new muscle memory, and becomes therapy, or in the presentation pattern, because it becomes more, because it's pleasant than the old repetitive litany that has terrorized and tormented us all our lives. This is how the Wohlman Method and the whole person work. The atonement of the new self-talk, combining simultaneously at the same time, the fewest words and pleasant. Then a person returns to that new self-talk program rather than the old litany. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, it does. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I must say, having had some of your therapy done on me, having the Wohlman Method done on me, it's a moving experience. It's not just relaxing for the body, but it's actually emotionally and spiritually healing, I would say. And it actually really works on your, you know, your self-esteem, and on valuing yourself and loving yourself and allowing yourself to let go and be the best expression of yourself that you can be. So I love that about the Wohlman Method. It really is it's not like any other massage or therapy that I've had before. It really is a combination of a whole lot of different therapies that works on many different levels. And
yes,
yeah, I really love that. And I'd love to see the Wohlman.
And it works again is greater than the sum of its parts. Some of its parts. That is the essence to this.
Yes.
And revitalizing one's physicality, freedom of emotion, and movement, and clarifies one's own stand in the world, also frees and illuminates that one's lucidity in communication is now old fuzz or multi-scattered impulses that we've entertained before. Now it's being honed in and focused in a very laser-beam way as you practice this new self-talk. Seeing it, shouting it, whispering, seeing it, shouting it, doing it in gibberish, doing it in as many possible ways as possible. Then it becomes indelibly memorable, and that's what people see. That's what you feel, and that's what you feel. I do this in my workshop. I'm doing a workshop workshop tomorrow, actually. That to the in St. at the 360 St. Kilda, 12:30 to 6 p.m. here. If you're interested, the contact details, you can also, and you'd be welcome to join me to continue this conversation. You who are so moved on Skype, 20-minute phone call with me on Skype, and I take you to acquainting yourself with a more evolved, better version of yourself. That I know who that is, that you do, and will help find that and give it form, shape, texture, color, and rhythm and music as you me. I should probably share that now, or wait to the end.
Yes, yes. Actually, we need to wrap up very shortly. So people can contact you. They can go to your workshop tomorrow in St Kilda. If they're in Melbourne, they can contact you through Facebook, Dr. Gary Wohlman. And where else can they get information on the workshop? Is that all on Facebook, on your Facebook page?
I have many ways you can reach me, and the ways you can reach me are, I have a Facebook page which you can like and read inspiring and audio materials. Information on the workshop tomorrow is there. So if you like the Facebook page that's called My Presentation Doctor, all spelled out, the same name, mypresentation.org.com. My number here in Melbourne is country code 61 4 3 1 2 6 0 1 9. That's my phone number. You can also email me, Gary at presentation doctor. This special sharing this with you today. I'm always wondering, Aldwyn, you know, when you hear a part two, a sequel to a movie, you wonder, oh, it could be as good as the first one. Yet I miss most of the time, especially to the last half of the session. I feel deeply moved by whatever we've been setting in motion.
Well, I couldn't hear that, Gary.
Grateful.
You said something.
I was saying,
I'm so grateful for you, Gary, and this was
so grateful to have this opportunity to share so deeply and to take this as a sequel even deeper than we could in the first run through. It just goes to show you that it's you can do something over and over and over again. There's something could be your new coming through. To keep it fresh, to keep it vital. If you remember one thing today, you do. You're thinking, you're speaking, and you come from a place as though it's always the first time, this moment, all the time in the world. Thank you for this beautiful opportunity to share. So deeply and intimately with you and you and you and all of you. Thank you, Aldwyn. Thank you, Aldwyn.
Thank you so much, Gary. Really appreciate you sharing your words of wisdom here. And I'm not sure how it was for the viewers. There was a little bit of cutting in and out, I think maybe with the Wi-Fi connection. So if there's anything that anyone who's watching this didn't understand at all, please write a message under the YouTube video or on the Facebook page, Truth Xpose TV. And if you have any questions at all for Gary or want to connect with Gary, go to the Presentation Doctor on Facebook, so you can connect with him there, find out about his workshops. Of course, your beautiful book. Where can people get a copy of your book, Gary?
You can find a copy of my book on my website, which is doctor.com. And again, the Facebook page is My Presentation Doctor.
Okay, great. So My Presentation Doctor on Facebook or mypresentationdoctor.com, the website. You can get a copy of Gary's wonderful book, Get Up, Stand Up for Your Life, and love what you're talking about with being present and speaking your truth and really allowing yourself to step up and step out in life. And that's really what we're all about here on Truth Xpose TV. So we're very aligned there. Gary, thank you so much for your time and part 2 of our conversation. And no doubt there will be a part 3. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone who's been on this show. Yes, Gary?
One more thing I want to add as show,
yes,
which is remember this. Remember from what you've heard and seen today. Remember this. Say these words after me. It's easy for me.
It's easy for me
to reach you.
To reach you.
With my message.
With my message.
That's my message to you. So you can
That's my message to you. And you can bring that to everyone else in your life. Let's let the ripple effect of all of us getting our message out there have a great effect on everyone around us. Thank you so much, Gary. It's fantastic. Always a pleasure with you. Please connect with us. Comment, like this video if you like what you've seen. Stay tuned. Truth Xpose TV and my presentation doctor to connect with Gary, and of course my media website as well, which is aaexpose.com. You can connect with me also there and on all the social media. Thanks so much once again, and get up, stand up for your life, everyone watching this, and we'd love to hear your feedback, what you thought, any questions at all. We'd love to connect with you. Thanks once again, Gary. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you. This is where it all begins.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Bye for now.